China's where it all began last month, but now Shanghai's in the rearview mirror. After the scores were tallied at Stage 1, Korea came away the overwhelming winner in the Recurve competition, which they've dominated for years. Other teams set their sights on trying to catch the Koreans, starting this week at Stage 2 in Antalya. Bows were finely tuned for the trip to Turkey, where the best in the business intend to do more than take in the glorious sights. They intend to use their tools of the trade to take on all comers and take home more than a few snapshots of all the beautiful scenery here on the Mediterranean coast. There's so much to do and see along the Turkish Riviera, but sightseeing would have to wait. There's work to be done on Recurve Sunday on sunny Konyaaltı Beach, home of Stage 2 on the 2013 Archery World Cup Tour. Merhaba, welcome to Antalya, where it's bows and arrows on the beach. But even before you can head for the sun and the surf, you've got to survive a long week of elimination matches. The Russian Federation found itself in a close battle with Korea during the semifinals, coming up short by just 3 points. Meanwhile, their counterparts from the Ukraine were finding it just as tough in their semifinal match with Japan. A bit more breathing room in this match as the Japanese women walk away with a 6-point victory. So it's Japan versus Korea for the gold, while the Russian Federation will take on the Ukrainian team in the bronze medal match. Victoria Koval, Anastasia Pavlova, and Lydia Sichnikova coming off a silver medal performance at Stage 1 in Shanghai just a month ago. This week, they defeated Iran and Germany before losing to Japan by 6 in the semis. Koval, the most experienced member of the team and a World Cup winner in Antalya back in 2010. Lots of talent on the team from the Russian Federation, too. They scored an upset over the United States, as well as Denmark earlier this week. Ina Stepanova, a World Cup winner in China 2 years ago, and Kristina Timofeyeva, a World Cup winner last summer in Ogden, Utah. Let's pick it up after the first 9 arrows. The blue and the gold getting off to a good start. It's a 9-point lead for the Ukrainian women, so Russia shoots first as they try to play catch-up. Stepanova has had success here on the beach before. She nails a 9. But a 7 by Tatiana Sagina makes the road a little rougher. Timofeyeva will try and make that road a little smoother, and she shoots a shot that leaves a smile on her face. Anastasia Pavlova leads off for the Ukraine and puts an 8 up on the board. 8's okay, but of course 10 is much better, and Victoria Koval's shot a lot of bullseyes in her decorated career. Sichnikova is a former Olympian. She rings up a 9, and the lead grows to 11 as we shift back to the Russian Federation. Stepanova continues her solid shooting, but teammate Tatiana Sagina continues her search for the gold rings and can't seem to find them with that shot. Timofeyeva tries to bail her out, but shoots low just inside the 9 ring. On the other hand, the Ukrainians have found a good rhythm. The 18-year-old Pavlova, now ranked 21st in the world, shows why. She puts Miss Koval in position to clinch the victory, and the woman making a comeback after giving birth to her daughter Diane just last year delivers a victory for her country. That's more than enough to wrap up the match, so there's no pressure on Sichnikova. Shooting free and easy, Lydia lights up the scoreboard with a 10 to cap off a successful Sunday morning in Antalya for the Ukraine. They take the drama and the suspense right out of these proceedings with a workmanlike 14-point win over the powerful team from the Russian Federation. Of course, if it's suspense that you seek and drama that you desire, there was plenty of it during the men's semifinals. China and Japan going head-to-head in an all-Asian matchup, and when they totaled up all the scores, the People's Republic of China had come up just 4 points short. Japan moves on to fight for gold. China moves on to battle for the bronze medal. In the other men's semifinal match, the home team did its best to try to pull off a major upset. The Turks were in this match all the way and had their chance at the end. But when the shooting was over and the smoke had cleared, Korea emerged the victor, scratching out a 2-point win over Turkey to once again gain access to the gold medal match. So now, let's fast forward ahead a few days and take you to that contest featuring top seed Korea against 6th seed Japan. These men from the land of the rising sun had an impressive week, beating Malaysia, upsetting the United States, and staying right with a vastly improved team from China. Japan's lineup: Ota Shohei, Tabata Shungo, and Furukawa Takahuru. Now, before their battle with Turkey, Korea had already beaten Belarus and just did get by the Ukrainians, winning that quarterfinal match by only a point. Talk about a tough trio. Oh Jin-hyuk, the Olympic gold medalist. Im Dong-hyun is also an Olympic medalist and a world record holder, and Lee Sung-yoon came close to medaling at Stage 1 in Shanghai. Right from the get-go, the Koreans flexed their muscles and assert themselves, taking a 10-point lead with 2 ends to go, impressing Dr. Erdener, the president of World Archery, who was on hand in Antalya. Japan gives a great effort, though. 9 more points coming on the shot by Furukawa Takahuru, the man who finished with the silver medal last summer in London. Tabata Shungo goes one better. After capturing the bronze at Stage 1, you can see his confidence growing. So 2 9s and a 10 to start the third end for Japan. Now it's Korea's turn. Mr. Lee, only 18 years old, almost puts it on the line, and Im Dong-hyun puts his shot in just about the same spot. That one a little bit closer to the line. Now, the first Korean male to ever win an individual Olympic title leaves no doubt with that shot. That's in the 10 ring for Oh Jin-hyuk. It's a comfortable cushion for Korea with 3 shots to go. If Japan's going to rally, they got to be shooting bullseyes from here on out, but Shohei's 8 isn't what Japan was hoping for. Despite the 10 by Takahuru and the 9 by Shungo, Japan finishes with a total of 214 points, which means Korea needs just 18 over the last 3 shots to claim the gold. Mr. Lee acquires 10 of the 18 points needed, so the honor falls to Im Dong-hyun to clinch, and that's something he has a lot of experience with. The final shot, a mere formality, and Mr. O puts his stamp on the win with a 9 to finish things off. So mere moments after the Korean women took the gold medal in their match with Japan, the Korean men do the same, defeating a talented Japanese trio by the surprisingly large margin of 11 points. Korea 225, Japan 214, and in so doing, Korea also defeated the elements. We expected Antalya to be windy. We were there a couple of times already, so we prepared a lot in Korea for shooting in this wind. Even though the wind was stronger than we thought it was going to be, in the end, we managed to get it correctly. Victories are difficult to come by on this windswept beach in Antalya and on the archery field as well, where the elimination rounds were held leading up to the medal matches. But for Mexico, the toughest challenge of all was the mixed team from Korea. This semifinal pit the 2 women who battled for the gold medal in London last summer against each other once again, and once again, Kibobe came away with a close victory over Aida Roman as Ki's team took a 4-point decision. So, whom would Korea face in the finals? Good question. China was fielding a fresh team with some new faces like Cui Yuan and Zhang Jinping. Great Britain also had a relative newcomer, Ash Morgan, paired up with veteran Naomi Folkard. But her experience was not enough to keep the Chinese team from taking the 7-point win in the semis. China goes for the gold, Great Britain goes for the bronze. So in the bronze medal match, it's the Union Jack proudly displayed by Miss Folkard and Mr. Morgan on a glorious Father's Day afternoon in Antalya. This is how they got there, by beating the Ukraine by 1 and Germany by 7. Of course, that was all before that encounter in the semis with China. Now they'll have their hands full with Mexico. Aida Roman and Juan René Serrano defeated France and Venezuela along the way this week. After the second end, it's neck and neck, score tied at 71 all. With Andrea Gales in the coach's box, Naomi comes close to the 9 ring, and her partner Ash Morgan does go one better. That cracks the door open just a little bit, and when Aida Roman sees an opportunity, she goes for it. Strong shot, followed by an even better effort from Mr. Serrano. Naomi continues to send her arrows to the right at about 3 o'clock, so it's falling to Ash Morgan to pick his teammate up. 9 more for Morgan, but again, here's another chance for Mexico to gain some ground. The Olympic silver medalist in London proved she's human too, so Juan René must come to the rescue, and that he does with another 10. That's a 3-point swing in favor of Mexico during the third end. They now lead in the match 108-105. Not an insurmountable lead, especially after Naomi makes a great adjustment and puts her next shot in the 10 ring. Ash Morgan, only 19 and competing in his first World Cup event, remains calm and consistent. So you're saying the Brits have a chance? Well, those chances don't look quite as promising after Aida Roman drills one into the center of the target, giving Juan René a little leeway, which he uses, shooting one of his lower scores in the match. GBR picks up a point and now trails by 2, but cannot capitalize on the opportunity. Folkard was low and to the left, and while Ash Morgan's also aiming left, he's able to keep his shot in the neighborhood of 9. The wind had to have been picking up at this point because a score of 8 was almost becoming fashionable. In fact, 8 would have been enough for Mexico to start the celebration, and thanks to that 8 from Juan René, the celebration can begin. The two teams combined to shoot 4 8s in the final end, and when all said and done, it's a razor-thin 1-point win for Mexico in the mixed team bronze medal match. Great Britain fights gamely, but it's Mexico's Aida Roman and Juan René Serrano who hold on for the victory. Mexico 142, Great Britain 141. Now, if you enjoyed that match, you'll love the women's gold medal finals featuring 21-year-old Cui Yuanyuan of China, who was clearly enjoying the spotlight and clearly enjoying the moment. She had just helped her country win the mixed team gold medal in an upset over Korea, and now she's back on the shooting line in this match thanks to earlier victories this week that came at the expense of Kibo Bay and Aida Roman. Now that's impressive. But so, for that matter, is Yoon Oh-ki, who had to get past Japan's Kato Ayano and her teammate Ju Hyun-jung to earn the right to represent Korea in these finals. Based on their respective track records, few experts saw this coming. Cui grabbing a 4-0 lead as we look at the scoreboard after the first 2 sets. If she can take this third set, it is all over. But as we go to that third set, Miss Yoon has other plans. That's a 10, and she's off to a better start in this set. And life's about to get even better for Yoon Oh-ki as her Chinese challenger opens with an 8. But encouragement quickly turns to discouragement as Yoon Oh-ki releases a wild shot that ends up being a 6. So now, Miss Cui can jump right back into this set, which she does, regaining form and using that dart to take the lead. Under a ton of pressure, Yoon Oh-ki recovers and shows her mental fortitude with a 10. She's not out of danger, though. If Miss Cui shoots 9 or better, the match is over, but it's an 8, and Yoon Oh-ki can breathe a sigh of relief. That set ends in a tie. They each get 1 point apiece, and the show goes on. Advantage? Cui Yuanyuan, who still maintains a 4-point lead going into the fourth set. From 70 meters away, this great Korean archer, who was ranked number 1 in the world just 2 years ago, comes up with a 9, but Miss Cui says, "I'll see ya and I'll raise you one." That's a 10, and that's a 1-point lead in what could be the deciding set. Ki cannot afford to split set points anymore. She has to win 2 sets to force a shoot-off, so yes, there's pressure. She handles it. Now the ball's in the other court, and Miss Zui falters just a little bit. We're at 19 points apiece now in the 4th set, which is there for the taking. Ki's shot looks good, but it's scored as a 9. So now her fate is in the hands of Tsui Yuan, who can bring an end to the match, and that's exactly what she does. A bullseye on her final shot. Turn out the lights, this one's over. Set, match, gold medal. It's an upset of epic proportions for the ecstatic 21-year-old from China, who would later be tossed by her teammates into the Mediterranean Sea to celebrate this great accomplishment. Great because it came against such a strong and respected opponent. I had some trouble in the beginning, but I got used to the wind, the fans, the heat, and I won. How sweet it is. That win will shake up the World Cup leaderboard, but looking at it from the standpoint of Ki, she comes away a winner because she picked up 21 more World Cup points and still leads in the standings with 2 stages left to go before Paris.
Thanks to movies like The Hunger Games, Brave, The Avengers, and other films that are coming out in the future, the sport of archery is growing rapidly in popularity. So now fans want athlete heroes to engage with. They're excited about the sport, and they want to know who the heroes are to follow. And that's why engaging on social media with a professional Facebook page, a Twitter account, and an Instagram profile is really important so that fans can understand the visual journey of the sport of archery. So social media is really a network of different websites that allow archers and athletes to engage with different fans, journalists, and potential sponsors, as well as the public at large. So popular sites include Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then of course for Olympians there's also the Olympic Hub, which is the International Olympic Committee's newest way to help bring athletes and fans together. So we really decided to put this seminar together because so many athletes are not only perhaps just starting to use Facebook and Twitter but aren't really sure how to use it.
I have a personal and a professional, a fan page for Facebook, and I just started the fan page a few weeks ago. And I post, on my personal page, stuff to do with what I'm doing in my everyday life, for, traveling or for, with my family and friends. And on my fan page, I try to post as much as I can about where I'm competing and how I'm shooting and try to keep my fans up to date on that.
I think this topic is very important to the archery because we can grow up together in the social media and people can learn many things about the archery in the social media.
I just started using Twitter, and so I'm kind of uneasy or don't know a lot about it, and so I learned a lot about Twitter from this seminar, and it was also really helpful to explain the importance of Instagram and using Instagram to post to all the social media sites.
Archery is really at a crossroads where promotion and media are becoming much, much more important. More and more journalists are covering the sport and wanting to know who the most popular athletes are and who to cover. Sponsors are wondering who to work with. And so if we can take this opportunity here to talk to a lot of athletes at once, hopefully we can get some good results and get them using social media more often.
Undoubtedly, the world of archery was all to Twitter about that big win for Tsui Yuan in the women's gold medal match at Stage 2. Now, could another Chinese archer get his own buzz going on Facebook and Instagram? That was all up to Zhang Jianping, an unranked 24-year-old who's also trying to make a name for himself in this sport. His opponent already has. Italy's Mauro Nespoli left the London Olympics with a team gold medal. He was one of 3 Italians who banded together to beat Brady Ellison, Jake Kaminsky, and Jacob Wuki. And this week in Antalya, Nespoli won a shoot-off with Brady Ellison, a victory that helped vault him into the bronze medal match where Sergio Pagni provided moral support. Mauro would need all the help he could get. After 2 sets, Nespoli would find himself trailing by 2 as Mr. Zhang won the first set and split the next. That means Nespoli gets first crack at target number 1, and he comes up with a 9. That'll work as long as Zhang Jinping isn't putting up 10s. Nespoli, going back to work, aims a little bit more to the left, and that works. Advantage Nespoli. But for how long? The lanky youngster from China allows Nespoli to keep the lead as he shoots another 9. Now, Nespoli could have claimed the set and picked up 2 points with another bullseye, but that 9 means Mr. Zhang can split the set if he can find the 10 ring, and he does. So both sides get 1 point, while Nespoli can afford to split this next set. He cannot afford to let his opponent take it. If Mr. Zhang picks up 2 more points, it is over. Definitely a sense of urgency for the Italian, whose first shot ends up left of center. The last thing he wanted to do was give the man he's shooting against an opportunity to move ahead in the match, but you don't always get what you want. Zhang Jinping certainly did with his shot, so now Nespoli is falling further and further behind the 8-ball, so to speak, with his opponent refusing to let up. You can almost sense the fire going out of Mauro Nespoli. Not much you can do when the other guy's shooting nothing but bullseyes. 10, 10, 10 across the board in the fourth and deciding set. China making some headlines here on the Mediterranean coast as another young up-and-comer comes through to win by a surprising margin. First time in the winner's circle for Zhang Jinping as he leads from start to finish and wins going away, defeating Italy's Mauro Nespoli 6-2 in 4 sets. And now, for the main event, the match that got top billing on the marquee heading into Recurve Sunday by the Sea. In the men's gold medal match, you've got Mexico's Juan René Serrano coming off that 1-point win over Britain in the mixed team bronze medal match. Not satisfied with the bronze, he's back to mine for gold. 14-5 in match play this season, he has never gone head-to-head with the current king of Korean archery, the Big O himself, Olympic gold medalist Oh Jun-yuk. Mr. O comes in ranked first in the World Cup standings. In 10 matches so far this season, he's lost but once. And just in case you forgot, he's already won the gold medal at Stage 1. Taking all that into consideration, it's no surprise to see him leading 4-0 after the first 2 sets, which is the same scenario we saw in Shanghai. In a match like this, Serrano cannot afford to bring a knife to a gunfight. 8s simply won't get it done against Mr. O. Unless, of course, he slips and shoots an 8 or a 9 himself. It happens, so not as much harm done, and Juan René can focus on his next shot, which is slightly better. The same goes for Mr. O. At this point, it's time for a breakthrough shot, and Serrano comes up with one to give himself a chance at a split. Of course, Mr. O can send everyone home should he score a 10, but nobody's perfect, and that 9 means we play on. The 2 men tie with 27 points apiece in the set, so they split the set points, and now Oh Jun-yuk leads the match by the commanding score of 5-1. Serrano's a 10-year veteran, and he's been in the top 10 in all 4 events he's been in on this year's tour. He knows he cannot get it all back at once. It's 1 shot at a time, and that 10 is a good start. Somehow, though, that always seems to bring out the best in Mr. O, and we're even once again. But not for long. That 8 could spell doom for Serrano, and it certainly feels that way after the Korean capitalizes right here with another bullseye. Trailing by 2, the man from Mexico instinctively knows he's got to answer to have a prayer of prolonging the match. Now he needs the great Oh Jun-yuk to shoot an 8. Not going to happen. The prayer goes unanswered for Juan René Serrano, who joins the crowd in saluting Oh Jun-yuk on his 2nd gold medal win of this World Cup season. First Shanghai, and now Antalya, in the land known for the Ottoman Empire, the Roman Empire, and the Empire of Alexander the Great. On this day, we have the Empire of O.
2년 전에 이 대회에서
Of course, I remember my loss here in Antalya back in 2011 in the gold medal match, and that is still a very painful memory for me. At the same time, though, I focused on today's match and tried to do all that I could to win. So actually, that painful memory from 2011 helped me get the victory today. It was like medicine. Those 25 World Cup points he picked up here on the Turkish Riviera, pretty effective medicine too. Mr. O doubling his World Cup point total and increasing his lead over the rest of the pack, which now includes Juan Rene Serrano and Zhang Jianping. We'll check that leaderboard again next month after Stage 3 of the Archery World Cup in Medellin, Colombia. Till next time, we say so long from beautiful Antalya, Turkey.